very nimble. It's not real fast, but it's very nimble, very light, handles really good. It's even got very good brakes on it, especially for the vintage it is. So this one's fun to get out and just do a little bit of two-lane touring on it. Sunday afternoon special. Hi, my name's Bruce Fischer, and I'm the proud owner of this 1972 Triumph Daytona T100R. This is the 500cc twin carburetor motorcycle. This is a pretty cool bike. It's unrestored. This is original. In fact, I don't ride it on the freeway because it has original English Dunlop tires on it. They're pretty old, so I ride it around a little bit on the surface streets and leave it at that. But this is an interesting bike. The first unit construction, that is when the transmission and the engine were all in one housing, Triumphs were based on this model in the 50s. It came out as a 350cc model and then increased to a 500cc model. And this is the bike they raced on the road races because it was the twin carb model and actually was quite successful in its day. That's why, hence the name Daytona, because it was a bike that went to Daytona and won the race down there, the big AMA 200-mile race. And so this one is a 72, as I said. This is the second to the last year of production for this motorcycle. Triumph was pretty much in its losing days at this point. They were trying to stay in competition with the Japanese motorcycles, especially in this country, and it wasn't working very well for them. So in fact this was the second to last year of production of this particular bike. In 1973 they had a big strike at their factory, so very few of those bikes even exist. And this one is one of the remaining ones of some of the last of the production of the 500cc twin carb models. This one's pretty nice. It runs good, everything works fine. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's unrestored, so it's in really good shape. So you wonder why do I like the 500cc motorcycle? Well, they didn't sell as many of these here as they did the 650s because people over here, our roads were wide open. We have freeways in California and interstates and whatnot. And these aren't really made to go 70, 75 miles an hour. They're basically a 55, 60 mile an hour bike as they come from the factory. So they didn't sell a lot of them. Everybody wanted a Bonneville in those days, which was the twin carb 650. But I just always had a penchant for the Daytona just because race bike was based on it. And it's pretty cool. So this one is, of course, like all Triumphs of that era, it's a Kickstart only bike. They didn't come any other way. It has the world famous Lucas electronics. Joseph Lucas is known as the Prince of Darkness, which is why I don't ride this one after dark, because you'd be going down the road and everything quits. This one hasn't done that, but like I said, it's an old beauty, and I just ride it during the daytime on the surface streets. So there's a pretty good story on where this one came from. A fellow came to me a couple of years ago and had a Buell Blast and said, can you help me with my motor on my Buell Blast? And I said, well, what help do you need? And he said, well, I want to go to Bonneville and set a record. And I kind of looked at him with a funny look, and I said, with a Buell Blast? Well, a Buell Blast is a pushrod single based on half a Sportster motor, 500 cc's. And I said, are you crazy? And he said, no, the record holder now is a Buell Blast. And that record was held by guys who actually work at the Harley factory. Anyway, I helped him assemble a motor that worked pretty good, and he went out last year and set his record at Bonneville in the production class. Well, along the line, he came by one day with a couple of old Triumphs in the back of his pickup that he was selling, and I said, oh, I didn't know you were trying to sell a couple motorcycles. And he said, yeah, I need some money to play with the race bike. And I said, gee, I wish you'd have told me that. I had no idea. And he said, well, I have a nice Daytona that you might be interested in. So I said, really? He said, well, let's go look at it. So I went over to where he had this in storage, and he pulled off the sheet, and I went, pretty darn nice. He says, I'm not really sure I want to sell it though. So this is one of those deals where it took me about a year and to talk him out of it. And after a while he said, okay, you help me with my race bike. I'll do it. So anyway, I bought this from him, and this is great fun because It's one of those bikes that when you ride it, you pull up at a stoplight somewhere, people pull up next to you, the people that understand what it is look at you and give you the old, hey, thumbs up, pretty cool bike. I take it to the vintage bike things, and the fact that it's unrestored usually blows people away because it's in excellent condition. So it's a pretty nice piece, and like I said, it's not what I'd call rare, but there aren't a whole lot of them in this condition left in this country, and because it was late production, it's kind of it's got some ugly things on it. Triumph was trying to stay up with the Japanese bikes. These controls are cast aluminum. The earlier ones were much more aesthetically pleasing. This tail light assembly, the Triumph guys call it the gargoyle because it's probably the ugliest piece of stamped steel you ever saw made into a tail light mount, but that's okay. The rest of the bike's pretty, the paint's pretty nice, and it's a great bike, sounds good, has a great thing, and we'll keep on bringing it out to all the shows and let everybody enjoy it.